Eric Staal's post-hit remark. Eric Staal once got caught dropping one of the funniest hot mic lines you'll ever hear. It happened during a 2023 game after he laid down a clean hit. As the play moved on, the broadcast mics picked up Staal's own voice, crystal clear, yelling, "That's Fing nice! Fing loser!" The timing was perfect, and fans couldn't believe they were hearing it live. What made it even funnier is how unfiltered it sounded. Staal's usually seen as a steady veteran, calm and professional, but here he was, blurting out raw trash talk with the whole world listening. It felt like a peek behind the curtain, the kind of banter you know goes on all the time, but you almost never hear on TV. Plenty of players have been mic'd up and chirped opponents before, but few moments hit this level of timing and blunt comedy. Fans clipped it instantly, and it spread all over social media by the next morning. This wasn't just another hot mic blooper, it was Eric Staal's personality shining through in the middle of the action. And that "fucking loser" line, it instantly became one of those NHL hot mic gems that fans will be quoting for years. Referee Tim Peel's confession. Referee Tim Peel delivered one of the most infamous hot mic moments in NHL history. During a 2021 game between the Nashville Predators and Detroit Red Wings, Peel was caught on a live broadcast mic saying, "It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty against Nashville early." The audio spread instantly and the fallout was immediate. Refs are supposed to be invisible, impartial judges who just let the game play out. But this clip exposed the kind of game management fans had always suspected. Instead of just calling what he saw, Peel admitted to wanting to set the tone by forcing a penalty. The NHL wasted no time. Within 24 hours, Peel was removed from officiating and later forced into retirement. Players and coaches reacted with disbelief, not because they didn't think this kind of thing happened, but because someone finally got caught saying it out loud. Fans called it the mask-slipping moment for NHL referees. For years, whispers about refs' evening up calls had floated around, but this mic'd-up slip gave everyone proof. Peel's confession became one of the most replayed audio clips in recent hockey history, not just because of the words, but because it confirmed what players had always known. Sometimes the whistle has less to do with the play and more to do with the ref's mindset. James Neal embellishment. Moment, sometimes a mic doesn't just catch funny banter, it captures raw emotion. That's exactly what happened with James Neal in a moment that's become a Reddit and YouTube favorite. After a heated exchange on the ice, Neal's voice cut through clear as day. "For you're getting a fucking embellishment." The timing of the outburst made it unforgettable. Neal, known as one of the league's grittiest forwards, wasn't holding anything back. This wasn't polished PR talk or the usual cliches players use in interviews. It was the pure frustration of the moment, boiling over, and the mic just happened to be there to catch it. What makes this clip so good is that it's universal. Every fan, every player, every ref knows that exact kind of argument happens dozens of times a night, but almost never do we hear it broadcast to the world. The insult itself, calling someone out for diving, is one of the most common chirps in hockey. But paired with the profanity and Neal's delivery, it became a classic. Fans online still resurface the clip whenever conversations about mic'd up moments come up. It's short, it's sharp, and it's brutally funny in its honesty. Neal's embellishment outburst turned into one of those hot mic moments that doesn't fade away. Instead, it became a little time capsule of how NHL players really talk in the heat of battle. Mic'd up bench trash talk. Some of the best hot mic gems don't even come from the ice. They come from the bench. Players sitting just a few feet from the boards, helmets off, chirping each other non-stop, often forget that microphones are close enough to catch their words. Over the years, countless little snippets of bench chatter have made their way onto broadcasts, and they're always gold. From rookies getting roasted by veterans, to players joking with refs, to teammates making fun of each other mid-game, these unfiltered moments give fans a glimpse into hockey's true personality. Trash talk is a core part of the game, but hearing it raw, with the volume turned up, shows just how sharp and creative NHL players can be. One of the funniest bench exchanges caught live was a player mocking an opponent's skating stride, yelling, "Hey, you skate like you're carrying groceries!" Another came when a goalie was chirped from the bench with, "You couldn't stop a beach ball if your life depended on it." The crowd never hears this stuff in the arena, but the mic makes it impossible to hide. These moments aren't about controversy or punishment, they're about personality. Hockey players often get painted as robotic in interviews, but bench trash talk proves the opposite. When the mics are on, the jokes, the chirps, and the laughter show the human side of the sport. Mic it up, goalie banter, Wes McCauley. When it comes to mic'd up legends, referee Wes McCauley has become a fan favorite. Known for his dramatic penalty calls, McCauley also has a way of cracking jokes with players mid-game, and sometimes the mics catch them in hilarious fashion. One of the best examples came during a back and forth with a goalie. Instead of the usual serious referee chatter, Macaulay was heard casually joking about how tough it is to stop pucks when your team is skating around like pylons. The goalie's reply? A deadpan, "Tell me about it." These small moments make fans love Macaulay even more. He's not just enforcing the rules, he's part of the entertainment. Goalies, who often have the most pressure on their shoulders, seem to enjoy his banter too. It's a break from the intensity, a reminder that even at the highest level, the game is still fun. Other mic'd up goalie moments have also gone viral. From sarcastic quips about their own defensemen to flat out roasting opponents, netminders have some of the sharpest tongues on the ice. When mics catch it, fans get gold. Hockey can be tense, but when refs like Macaulay or goalies themselves let loose with a joke, it shows the lighter side of the game. These snippets are short, funny, and unforgettable, and they've helped turn mic'd up moments into one of the NHL's most entertaining features. Wild mic'd up bloopers. Not every hot mic moment is about trash talk or controversy. Sometimes the funniest clips are the ones that were never supposed to be heard at all. NHL broadcasts have accidentally caught bloopers, players muttering to themselves, refs mixing up words, or even broadcasters forgetting their mic is live. These off-the-cuff remarks often turn into internet classics. One famous blooper came when a player wiped out on a routine shift and, still lying on the ice, muttered, "Well, that was fucking embarrassing." The mic picked it up perfectly and fans instantly clipped it. Another came from a referee who, after tripping over his own skates, could be heard blurting, "Nice one, stripes." It's those little humanizing slips that turn into fan favorites. TikTok and YouTube are full of these compilations. Players getting tongue-tied during line changes, coaches yelling at the wrong guy, or random background noises making it into the broadcast. They aren't dramatic, but they make the NHL feel more relatable. Fans see the players as superhuman on the ice, but hot mic bloopers remind everyone that they trip, laugh, and slip up like anyone else. These bloopers might not be as legendary as a ref's confession or a brutal chirp, but they're part of what makes mic'd up hockey so fun. They're small accidents that ended up becoming moments fans will replay for years. Worst fine plays with hot mic commentary. Some of the funniest mic'd up NHL moments don't come from great plays, they come from terrible ones. Over the years, clips have surfaced where a player makes a bad mistake and the mic just happens to catch the reaction that follows. The result is equal parts cringe and comedy. One example came after a brutal turnover in the defensive zone. As the puck ended up in the back of the net, the hot mic picked up a teammate on the bench shouting, "Are you kidding me?" We practiced that every foxing day. The timing was perfect. Fans could hear the raw frustration that usually stays behind closed doors. Another classic came when a player missed a wide open net, the kind of chance kids bury on a backyard rink. Right after the whiff, the broadcast caught him muttering to himself, "That's $10,000 gone." It was a nod to the team fines that sometimes get handed out for sloppy plays, and the self-awareness made it hilarious. These moments are embarrassing for the players, but unforgettable for fans. They remind everyone that even NHL stars are human. They mess up, they know it, and sometimes their mics tell the whole world exactly what they're thinking. Fans and players interact. Mic snippets. Every so often, hot mics capture the best part of live sports, the back and forth between fans and players. Normally, the arena noise drowns it all out, but when a mic catches the exchange, it feels like a rare peek into hockey's street-level humor. One memorable moment came when a fan leaned over the glass and chirped a goalie, shouting, "You're washed up!" The goalie didn't hesitate. His reply, crystal clear on the mic, was, "You paid how much to watch me tonight?" The crowd erupted, and the clip went viral within hours. Another classic came from a player skating near the bench, jawing back and forth with a fan in the front row. The mic caught the player laughing as he said, "Buddy, if you skated once in your life, you'd pull a hamstring in 5 seconds." It wasn't mean-spirited, just quick, sharp, and funny. These small interactions give the NHL personality. They show that players hear the chirps, and sometimes they're just as quick with comebacks as they are with slap shots. Without the hot mic, those moments vanish into the noise of the crowd. With it, they become part of hockey legend. Coaches and broadcasters on-air outbursts, Coach's Corner. Not all hot mic moments happen on the ice. Some of the most explosive ones came from the broadcast booth, especially during Don Cherry's long run on Coach's Corner. Known for his colorful suits and louder-than-life personality, Cherry wasn't shy about saying whatever came to mind, and when the mic was live, the results were unforgettable. One night, after a controversial play, Cherry launched into a rant defending his view of old-time hockey. He jabbed at players for being soft and even called out league officials. Viewers at home weren't used to that kind of candor on national TV, and it instantly became a talking point across Canada. There were also moments where Cherry went head-to-head with the network itself, openly criticizing decisions on air. Fans could feel the tension, but they also couldn't stop watching. It was live, unfiltered, and unpredictable. These outbursts weren't always funny. Sometimes they were fiery, sometimes controversial, but they always felt raw. The hot mic made Cherry's personality larger than life. Love him or hate him, those unscripted moments are burned into NHL broadcast history. Announcers at a loss for words. It's not just players and refs who get caught by hot mics. Sometimes it's the announcers. Hockey commentators are usually quick with words, ready to describe every goal, save, and hit. But every now and then, something happens on the ice so shocking that the booth goes completely silent. And when the mic's still rolling, that stunned silence becomes a moment in itself. One of the funniest examples came after a jaw-dropping save, where the broadcast picked up nothing but open mics in the booth. Finally, after a long pause, one announcer simply muttered, "Ow." That was it. No play-by-play, no analysis, just genuine disbelief. Fans loved it because it was raw and real. Another classic came when a brutal fight broke out. The mics caught one commentator whispering to the other, "Are we even allowed to air this?" It wasn't meant for the broadcast, but once fans heard it, the clip spread everywhere. Moments like these show that even the pros behind the microphone can be left speechless. They remind fans that hockey doesn't always need narration. Sometimes the action itself says everything. And those rare times when the announcers drop their polished act and just react like fans, those are the mic'd up gems that live on. Social media mic'd moments. Not every hot mic moment has to be about trash talk or intensity. Sometimes the funniest ones are the most casual, the kind you'd expect in a locker room, not on national TV. Jeff Skinner delivered one of those gems when he got caught chatting about the Netflix show Emily in Paris. Instead of talking hockey strategy or last night's game, Skinner was all smiles, gushing about the characters and storyline. The mic picked it up clearly, and within hours, the clip was all over social media. Fans couldn't believe it. NHL players are usually portrayed as all business all the time. Hearing one of them go on about a romantic comedy drama felt refreshingly real. It wasn't staged, it wasn't PR approved. It was just Skinner being himself, and that's exactly why people loved it. Moments like this matter because they break down the wall between players and fans. For once, Skinner wasn't a goal scorer or a professional athlete. He was just a guy talking about his favorite show, the same way fans talk at home. The hot mic turned a throwaway conversation into one of the NHL's most relatable clips. Unexpected referee reactions. Referees are supposed to stay neutral, but sometimes the mic catches how stressful their job really is. One of the best hot mic moments came when a ref, after missing a call and hearing it from the bench, muttered under his breath, "Oh great, here we go again." The broadcast picked it up and fans instantly related. Another time, after a pileup in front of the net, the mic caught a ref yelling, "Get off him, he's not a buffet." The line was so random, so out of nowhere, that it became an instant fan favorite. These kinds of slip-ups remind people that refs aren't robots. They're under pressure, and sometimes their personalities shine through. Fans often think of referees as stone-faced rule enforcers, but when their real emotions leak out, it changes everything. Suddenly, they're part of the story. Social media eats it up, players laugh about it later, and fans get to see that even refs have a sense of humor. Hot mic referee reactions might not be as dramatic as Tim Peel's confession, but they're fun in a different way. They show the lighter, more human side of officiating, and that's something fans rarely get to see. Player mic'd coaching instructions. Sometimes a hot mic doesn't catch jokes or chirps. It catches real coaching in the middle of battle. There are countless clips where a player is mic'd up, and instead of just reacting to the game, you hear them barking instructions to teammates in real time. One standout came when a veteran defenseman could be heard yelling, stay high, don't chase him down," as his partner drifted out of position. Seconds later, the play developed exactly how he predicted. Fans watching at home suddenly got to hear hockey strategy the way players communicated on the ice. Another classic came from the bench when a captain shouted, "Short shifts, don't get caught out there." It wasn't flashy, but it revealed the constant communication that drives a team. These moments make the game easier to understand for casual fans while showing just how much leadership and awareness NHL players bring. Mic'd coaching instructions aren't always polished. Sometimes they're blunt, sometimes laced with profanity, but that's what makes them so real. They're unfiltered windows into how players think in the moment. The hot mic turns what would normally be invisible teamwork into something fans can actually hear and appreciate. Heated chirps. During play, some of the most entertaining hot mic moments come straight from the ice when players are in the middle of a game and can't resist chirping each other. Trash talk has always been a part of hockey, but usually it gets lost in the noise of the crowd. When the microphones catch it, though, fans get to hear exactly how sharp and cutting NHL players can be. One memorable moment came when a forward got under a defenseman's skin and was caught saying, "You couldn't catch me with a feezing taxi." The crowd never heard it in the arena, but at home, fans burst out laughing. Another time, after a goalie let in a soft goal, an opponent skated past yelling, "Nice save, hero!" The sarcasm was so clear it became an instant replay favorite. What makes chirps special is how quick they are. Players don't have time to think, and it's all instinct, and that's what makes them sting. Some are funny, some are brutal, but all of them reveal the fire that burns in the heat of play. Hot mic chirps aren't polished speeches. They're raw, unfiltered emotion in the middle of battle. And that's why fans love them. They show the side of hockey that's equal parts intense and hilarious, the one you can only hear when the mic's in the right place at the right time. Post-game locker room slips. Hockey locker rooms are supposed to be private spaces where players can blow off steam after the final horn, but every once in a while, the hot mic stays on just long enough to catch something raw and unforgettable. One famous moment came when a frustrated star walked past reporters after a tough loss and muttered, "We'd win if half this team gave a damn." The comment wasn't meant for the public, but the mic picked it up and it quickly spread everywhere. Fans and media ran with it, sparking debates about leadership and chemistry inside the locker room. Another classic slip happened after a huge playoff win when a player celebrating with teammates shouted, "That's what happens when you fuffing doubt us." The passion was real, the language unfiltered, and it gave fans a glimpse into just how emotional these moments are. These slips aren't scripted and they're not always flattering, but that's what makes them so powerful. They show players at their most human, tired, angry, relieved, or ecstatic. For fans, it's like getting to peek behind the curtain at the rawest version of the sport. Hot mic locker room moments may not last long, but once they're out there, they live on forever. They capture the highs and lows of hockey in a way no press conference ever could.